श्रीराघवम् दशरथात्मजमप्रमेयम् सीतापतिम् रघुकुलान्मयरत्नदीपम् आजानुबाहुम् अरविन्ददलायताक्षम् रामम् निशाचर विनाशकरम् नमामि नमामि नमामि
Ramakatha Rasavahini. Chapter 10, Part 2. Meanwhile, the emperor had finished making all arrangements for the coronation ceremony, and when he emerged from the Darbar hall, he felt that instead of proceeding to the apartments of Kausalya, he should communicate the happy tidings to Kaikeyi first. So, he hurried towards her palace. The maids, who stood at attention all along the passage, appeared upset with anxiety. The emperor argued within himself that they had not heard the good news, for it would have lit up their faces. He pitied them that they did not know that Rama was to be crowned the next day. He directed his steps to the bedroom where he expected the queen to be. There his eyes fell on the scattered jewels, the unkempt bed, the heaps on the floor, and the general state of untidiness and distraction. He was surprised at all this and searched for the queen in the room, peeping into corners. A maid in waiting announced, "Maharaja, Her Highness Kaikeyi Devi is now in the Hall of Anger." Hearing this, he was gravely upset. He turned his steps in that direction. Kaikeyi was sprawling on the floor in the blinding darkness of the room, wailing and weeping. He said, "Kaikeyi, what ugly scene is this? Why are you so angry? Who caused you so much sorrow? Tell me, I shall kill them this very moment. I shall confer joy on you. You have only to tell me what you deserve. I am ever ready to fulfill your wish. Your joy is my joy. Don't you know that I have nothing in this world higher and dearer than you? Come, do not test me further. Tell me." The emperor sat by her side and, caressing her head, he consoled her in various ways and questioned her about the reason for her anger and grief. Kaikeyi was in a fit of rage. She gnashed her teeth noisily. She threw aside the hands of the emperor when he tried to fondle her. She said angrily, "Enough of this false pretense. I put faith in you so long And this is the degradation I have brought on myself. I do not trust you anymore. I could not believe that you are capable of this hypocritical game. Is this the punishment for putting faith in you? Go to your favorites. Why sit here by my side? You might gag your mind in one place and your tongue in another. Give your tongue to the place where you have given your mind. I am not in a mood hereafter to place faith in your words. Do not inflict more sorrow on me, but go back the way you came. What do you care what happens to me? Better to die as a queen than drag on as a slave. This is the last day of my life. These wailings, heard between the sobs and sighs, conveyed no meaning to Dasharatha. He was utterly confused and tried to console her and assuage her anger. Kaikeyi, he began, what do these words mean? I do not understand. I never use false hypocritical words, nor can I ever use them. My mind and tongue act in unison. They will ever be the same. Where my love is, there my sweet expressions will be. My tongue will not falsify my mind. It is impossible for it so to behave. I do not know how it has happened, how you have not been able to know me and my sincerity in spite of the lapse of many years. Without telling me plainly what has actually happened to give you so much grief and pain, do not torture me like this. Tell me, what has happened? Why are you behaving like this? What has caused you this agony? Dasharatha pleaded piteously for a long time, but with no effect. The queen only retorted sharply, brushed aside with effrontery, ridiculed sarcastically, and turned a deaf ear to the importunities of the emperor. She pretended as if she treated his words as of no worth. Dasharatha was wounded very deep in his heart. Not knowing what to do, he called Manthara in. She rushed in, play-acting her conspiratorial role, shrieking for help for the queen, her mistress. O king, save my mother! She cried and clasped the feet of the emperor. The emperor was really the embodiment of innocence. He had no trace of duplicity in him, so he could not see through the drama they were enacting. He feared that some calamity must have happened to make his beloved so perverse and stern. So he asked Manthara again to tell him what exactly had taken place. Manthara said, Maharaja, what can I tell you? I am not aware of the least bit of what happened. Mother does not divulge the reason for her anger to anyone. All of a sudden, she hastened from the bedroom into this hole of anger. Noticing this, I came here. People prayed and pleaded in various ways, but she does not disclose the reason. She does not confide even to you. Will she then reveal it to poor me? We see her suffering and agony. It is unbearable. We cannot simply look on any longer. We are afraid of what might happen to her, and so we have been waiting for your arrival. Unless you comfort her and bring joy into her mind, her condition might become critical. She has suffered too deeply and too long. Her condition is growing worse every moment. We will retire now. Manthara left the hall with the other maids, saying, Please find out from her the reason for her grief and anger, and pacify her soon by appropriate remedies. Manthara only added to the mystery, and Dasharatha was even more confused by her statements. He sat by the side of the disconsolate queen and said, Kaikeyi, why do you keep me in the dark? He gently lifted the head of the queen from the bare floor and placed it on his lap, and sought to persuade her to reveal to him the reason for her inconsolable suffering. After some time, Kaikeyi shook off her silence and began to speak. Maharaja, you haven't forgotten, have you, the 2 boons you promised to confer on me that day during the battle between the Devas and the Asuras? Dasharatha was relieved. He said, Kaikeyi, why have you put yourself into all this temper and pain for the sake of this simple thing? I will not forget the promise of the 2 boons so long as there is life in me. That promise is as dear to me as Kaikeyi herself. You are the breath of my life, and the promise too is as the breath. Queen, has anyone harmed you? Or is your health affected adversely? Or has any wicked person dared act against your will? Speak. For your sake, I shall face even mortal injury and punish them so that happiness may be restored to you. Do not doubt me. Oh, embodiment of charm, why do you suffer thus? Are you unaware that the entire empire is at your beck and call? Whatever you wish to have from any region, you have only to tell me. I shall secure them for you and bring you joy. Inform me, what is it that you fear? What has brought this sorrow? Do not withhold anything or hesitate to speak out. As the sun scatters the mist, I shall shatter the grief that smothers you. Dasharatha fondled and flattered the queen and tried various means of consoling her and restoring her spirits. Kaikeyi kept in her mind the advice that Manthara had given her. She resolved that she must secure from her husband a promise on oath before revealing her bitter wishes to him. To induce it out of him, she displayed exaggerated and seductive love and wiped the tears from her eyes. She held firm the hands of the king, so pitiably enslaved by her enchantments and so greatly enamored of her charms. She said, Lord, I have no resentment against anyone, nor has anyone done me any harm or dealt me any insult. I have no craving for anything from any distant region of the earth. But I have a long-nourished desire, I must admit. If you swear an oath you will fulfill it, I shall tell you what it is. She enticed him with a smile playing on her face. Dasharatha too smiled in response and sidling a little towards her said, Oh, you foolish queen! For this one simple affair, why was it necessary for you to put on so much of temper and cause so much of anxiety and anguish? Hear this. Among women, you are the most dear to me, and among men, Rama is most dear to me. You are both my very breath. You know this well, don't you? I cannot survive a single day without feasting my eyes on you and him. Therefore, I swear on Rama himself. Tell me what your wish is. I shall fulfill it without fail. When he declared thus on oath, with both her hands in his, Kaikeyi was overwhelmed with joy. She rose and sat up. She demonstrated even more love towards him, for she was glad he had changed into a well-wisher of hers. She asked, O king, you have sworn on Rama. He is the witness to the oath. Is this genuine? She made her position doubly secure, saying, Lord, you are a votary of truth. You are the highest among the righteous. You are endowed with sovereign might and majesty. You must have in your memory the war between the gods and the demons. Yet, let me remind you of that exploit once again. That day, when the demon Sambara slaughtered all before him, you struggled desperately to defeat him. Had I not guarded you and nursed you into life, keeping myself vigilant and alert, you know what would have happened to you. You appreciated my devoted sacrifice and declared, Kaikeyi, you rescued me from death itself. What can I give you in return? Whatever it may be, ask me 2 boons. I shall fulfill them and repay the debt I owe you, the gratitude I have to evince. You desired that I should name the boons you offered to grant. But I felt then that your coming back to life was itself the most precious boon for me, and so I replied, Lord, I have no boon to ask from you now. I shall present my request for them sometime later. Keep them with you in reserve for me. I pleaded with you. You were elated at my attitude and expressed your admiration. You said, you liked my renunciation and declared that the boons will be kept on trust so long as life lasts and can be drawn upon with no objections raised. All this must be fresh in your consciousness, aren't they? You are the monarch of the earth. You are faithful to the plighted word. Therefore, give me now the 2 boons of mine that you kept in abeyance on my behalf. Make me happy thereby. I do not demand any new boon from you. I ask only for what are really mine. I need not remind you. You know very well that it is a heinous sin to refuse to give back riches placed in trust in one's hand for safe custody. If you say now that you cannot grant them, you will be injuring me with that breach of faith. I cannot bear the disappointment. Rather than live with that sense of defeat, I consider getting rid of life is more honorable. When the husband does not honor the word given to the wife, how can the wishes of the people in the kingdom be realized? An emperor who stoops to deceiving his wife, making her believe him and then acting against that belief, does not deserve the position of protector of his subjects, does he? You know that the lawgiver sage Manu has laid down that such ungrateful kings should not be treated as monarchs. Why should I dilate further on this point and repeat 1,000 arguments? In case my boons are not granted this day, Kaikeyi will not be alive at dawn. Announcing thus, she burst into loud weeping and wailing. Dasharatha was rendered helpless and weak by her histrionics, like an innocent deer that is drawn into the net spread for his capture by the imminent cries of the hunter. Dasharatha, overcome by cooings of love and drawn by the entrancing gestures of the queen, fell into the trap like an insane, ineffective man. He vowed solemnly, I shall certainly give you the 2 boons, holding her palms tightly in his. No sooner were those words uttered, the eyes of Kaikeyi bloomed wide and bright. She watched the face of Dasharatha intently for some time and said, O king, this day I have realized how good you are. This day you have proved the genuineness of your claim that you will never break a promise once made. She started extolling Dasharatha in this and other ways. The love-lorn emperor was highly elated by her praise. He urged her on with the prompting, Kaikeyi, why do you delay further? Ask for the boons. Kaikeyi hesitated. She stuttered. With the arrangements made for the coronation of Rama, perform the coronation of Bharata, my son. This is the first boon I demand. Next, Rama, wearing matted hair and deer skin, and dressed in tree bark raiment, shall go into the Dandaka forest and remain there for 14 years as a forest dweller. This is the second boon I asked for. Bharata must become the heir apparent, with no one obstructing his path. Rama must be sent out into the jungle before my very eyes. Grant me these 2 boons and maintain the honor and dignity of your line untarnished, or else assent to the extinction of Kaikeyi's life this very moment. Thus declaring, she stood up and started wildly in a determined stance like a demoness. The emperor was crushed by the cruel bolts that rained on him. Was it a dream? Could it be true? Was it Kaikeyi who asked for these boons? Or was it a bloodthirsty monster? Could it be a terrible hallucination of his? Was it a wild trick played by some horrid illness? He could not gauge, so he cried. Kaikeyi, is it you there? Or is it some ogress who has assumed your form? Tell me first who you are. Like a person who has lost control of his limbs, he tottered, unable to mouth the words he wished to speak. He rolled listlessly from side to side like a madman, his eyes looking wildly all around. Suddenly, sparks flew from his eyes as he gazed at Kaikeyi. He exclaimed in terrible anger, "Why, Lumen? What exactly is your aim? Is it to uproot the entire clan line? What injury has my dear son Rama done to you? He loves you even more than he does his own mother. How could your heart agree to send my Rama into the thick, dark jungle? I took you so long to be a princess. Now I find you are a venomous cobra. I allowed you to infest my home out of sheer ignorance. How could such a sinful idea enter your head when Rama, the very breath of my life, is being acclaimed by every being that breathes? If imperative, I am prepared to give up the empire and even my life. But I cannot give up Rama. No. You crave that your son be hailed as emperor. Well, have him so. I shall go to the forest with Kausalya, Sumitra and others, taking my Rama with me. But I can never send Rama alone into the jungle. This is impossible. Give up this atrocious, sinful desire. Give up the hatred of Rama that you have cultivated. Kaikeyi, tell me frankly, do you really desire that these things take place? Or is all this merely a stratagem to find out whether I have affection towards your son Bharata? If so, you can ask that Bharata be crowned Yuvaraja, but there is no meaning in asking that Rama be exiled into the forest. Such a desire should not be entertained or expressed lightly. Kaikeyi, Rama is the firstborn son. He is the repository of all virtues. The years of his reign will be most glorious. You have told me often that you are looking forward to the time when such golden dreams will come true. And now, you want that self-same Rama should be sent into the forest? What is the deeper meaning of this request? Are you joking with me? If it is all a joke, why this scene in the hall of anger? Why this rolling on the hard stone floor? Jokes too have limits beyond which they become pitifully cruel. I cannot entertain the idea even as a joke. No, I can never be separated from Rama. Kaikeyi, you have been behaving like an intelligent woman all these years, but now your intelligence has been crooked and wicked. Such perversions are always harbingers of self-destruction. It is a heinous sin to injure the good. Of course, the good will not be affected by these tactics. The stratagems of the wicked will only promote the fame and glory of the good. They might appear hard to bear only for some little time. Your wicked plans appear to me to be fraught with disaster to the Ikshwaku dynasty itself. For until this moment, you have never spoken an unpleasant word or thought of an inauspicious act. I find it impossible to believe that it is the same one who is asking me such things today. Kaikeyi, you were all along afraid of transgressing the codes of moral law. You are anxious to win the grace of God by means of each little thought, word and deed. Where has that fear of unrighteousness gone now? What have you done with that devotion to God which kept you on the path of righteousness? What is the gain you look for when you want Rama to be sent to the forest for 14 years? His body is soft and tender, like the petal of a freshly blossomed flower. He is most charming to behold. Rama is so enticingly beautiful. Of what profit is it for you if he suffers unbearable pangs of pain in the forest? In this palace, there are many thousands of attendants and maids. Can any one of them point a finger at him and say that he is faulty in any respect? Well, leave alone our palace. Can you bring from the capital city any single person? Can you name anyone who blames Rama? He has discovered many a misery and relieved them with gifts and riches. He has shown great consideration for them. He has noticed many who are homeless and provided them with houses. By his love and care, he has won the affection of all people. That you should harbor hate against such a lovable son strikes me dumb. I cannot find words to describe your devilish cruelty. There are many who exploit their own subjects and act only to foster their own selfish interests. Such demons are appearing in good numbers today. But in your eyes, due perhaps to the age or your own past sins, persons who assuage the wrong done to the poor and the distressed and foster their advancement, those who directly inquire into their difficulties and problems and afford relief, such good men appear bad, deserving exile and punishment. Everyone in this empire relishes listening to the virtues of Rama and takes great delight in recounting his goodness. While they feel exhausted in the fields, farmers and laborers sing songs of Rama and his charms to make their tasks lighter. When I came to know of this, I was filled with joy. How can your heart agree to inflict on such a compassionate soul this excruciating sentence? This very evening, when I placed before a gathering of sages, elders, ministers, leading citizens, scholars and many experts in statecraft the proposal for the coronation of Rama, no one raised a note of dissatisfaction or dissent. On the other hand, they praised Rama in countless ways and declared that it was the fruit of the merit that they had accumulated in many past lives that they could now secure as heir apparent and lord, a spiritual hero who had mastered his senses, an embodiment of selfless activity and having unflinching loyalty to truth. They indicated their joy by continuous Jai Jais. Is this treasure of my love, this favorite of my people, whom you seek to send into the forest? Whatever you may say, this is certain: I will not send my Rama into the forest. And listen to this also: the coronation of Rama shall take place tomorrow. It cannot be cancelled. Dasharatha announced this in an outburst of pride and courage. End of Chapter 10, Part 2. Sai Ram.